In light of Bernie Sanders' recent comments during the last debate about population control and shit like that, there's a lot of misconceptions going on, a lot of misunderstanding going on with what is actually going on, as far as population control or population levels go. Is it true that probably by the end of the century, 2100, that Earth's population would be around 11 or 12 billion? That's true. But at the same time, there are other factors that have to be considered when trying to take in the whole picture. If you look at countries that are, developed and quote unquote rich, you see that their birth rates are typically substantially lower than those countries who are typically poor or underdeveloped. It's kind of like way back in the Great Depression, how a lot of families had a lot of kids because, quite frankly, a lot of those kids ended up dying off due to starvation, disease, accidents, what have you. So they were just in that mindset of just making as many babies as they could in order to improve the odds of them, of some of them growing up and having kids of their own. That's why we have the boomer generation and shit like that. And well, of course, as time went on, conditions got better. People didn't feel the need that, hey, my kid might die of fucking some bullshit disease down here in a few weeks. So I don't think I have to make any more kids than I feel that I have to, because raising kids is a fucking chore. Okay, it's no joke. So when you put that much energy and effort into something, you're going to want to hope to make sure that the odds for that kid are surviving are pretty good. And of course, with the situation as far as healthcare is concerned, poverty being reduced like in the United States to a certain degree, over time, people didn't no longer feel the need to populate the way they did. Now, in poor countries, many of them are kind of experiencing what people experienced during the Great Depression and shit like that. So they're in that mindset of just making as many kids as they fucking can. Just for the sake of, they don't want to just have 2 or 3 kids and they all fucking die because of fucking diphtheria or some shit like that. So they're going to overproduce more than what they think they're going to need, just so they can have kids that have kids that have kids continue on. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to more developed countries, that's not the case, because people understand that having kids and raising kids is a pain in the ass. Even if you take away the financial aspect of it, or just the cost of raising kids, it's still a pain in the ass because you got to take care of little beings who have a will of their own and find ways of getting into trouble or getting hurt, and you got to actively protect them from doing that. So just that by itself is a pain in the ass. All right, let alone with all the financial hardships that people experience in the United States and pretty much all over the planet. With that compounded on it. Ooh. If you know you're going to be all right having 2 or 3 kids, you're probably just going to have 2 or 3 kids. Maybe you'll just try to get away with just having 1 kid because it's just that much of a pain in the ass. Especially if you figure, hey, I live in a country that has enough of the infrastructure in place to take care of certain basic realities with disease, healthcare, education, plentiful food supply, or plentiful-ish food supply, and so with that, you naturally going to want to have less kids because raising kids is a pain in the ass. You know it. I don't have any fun kids, and I understand it to be a pain in the ass. That's just the scope of it. So, just that alone, if we get a lot of these countries out of their desperate, impoverished situations, they'll eventually begin to fall into the mindset of more developed nations and naturally having less kids. They can focus on the kids, the 1 or 2 kids that they have now or then, and just focus all their energy into that because they know that there's a pretty good chance that they're going to survive to adulthood and have kids of their own, because that's the whole point of it, you know what I mean? But, things like basic and universal basic income plus current social programs, would help to greatly improve people's financial situation. And of course, has all kinds of wonderful little side effects. But also at the same time, we also have to realize that the basic income is just a part of the newer economic model that that we're just going to have to get in gear. Not to mention all these. Yes, we can handle. Have a couple links in the description below stating that we can handle about this planet can handle about 11 or 12 billion people, more or less, if we have the proper recycling technologies, the renewable energies, the much more efficient logistics of getting resources to where they need to go. So UBI plus is just a piece of the puzzle, but I feel, and based on what I've seen, seems to be a really important part of it in poverty reduction. At the same time, even though we have not horrendous levels of poverty in the United States, that's around 12%, but still, that's pretty fucking high for a country as wealthy as we are. But even so, the biggest polluters are the mega industries like Nestle, the meat industry. So if we begin to greatly improve their methods of doing business, being a lot more efficient with, say, water use, land use, general pollution, recycling, we can greatly reduce their impact as well without really significantly changing how we're used to living. Now, I'm not saying that we should, just continue on the way we are. Of course not. We have to change our situation because we just keep on doing what we're doing, we're fucked. So we definitely have to invest heavily in renewables, renewable renewable power generation, recycling, improving the logistics, and it's just all these little pieces of the puzzle that go together. And from what I've seen during the debate, the little bit that I watched it, them trying to get Bernie with the population question, I think they were trying to get and a lot of other people think this too, that they're just trying to get him at the abortion angle and shit, which really, a woman's right to choose. That's my position. That's her right to choose. I'm not going to get in the way of her and her doctor and her choices. I'm not going to do that. And the thing is, there's a difference between people having a choice for performing or having an abortion versus the state saying you have to have that abortion no matter what. For the eugenics, it's a huge difference. So when people try to, I know this is a bit off topic here, but when people try to compare fucking like what the Nazis did with forced eugenics programs versus a woman's right to choose, you know what I mean? To choose, there's a good deal of difference because you have a bit more free will and choice there with what a woman can do with her body versus the Nazi state telling the woman, no, you got to have that abortion no matter what because of our stupid eugenics laws. So, but yeah, there's this whole worry that the next thing, the 2200, the population is going to be 50 billion and explode. It's not really the case if you look at, like I said, the rich populations or rich countries versus the poor countries. But yeah, anywho, that about wraps it up. I don't want to get too long-winded. So, any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments section below. That'd be great. And as always, I'll see you next time.